Hi, do I know you?
Quiet child, I'm meditating.
Yeah, sure, but can you just spare a minute and tell me why are you meditating in my bedroom and whose guest are you?
Hamza, the god of self-improvement.
Oh, you're serious? Bro, you're very obviously not Hamza. He lives in England. He has a beard. He's 6'1". You're barely like 5'7" ish. He's still making and posting videos. That means he's still living in England. What the fuck are you? Anyways, I'm here to get you to 100k subscribers. The boys seem to have forgotten me, but I haven't forgotten them. They still need a new leader. They still need an avatar, a person that they can rely on, trust on, a person that cares about them just as much as me, a person who. So you think I am that avatar? What? Fuck no. I watched one of your videos and it was so fucking ass that I decided I'm gonna take a break from this little quest of mine of searching for a new self-improvement leader. And in the meantime, I'm gonna help you reach to 100k subscribers so that you're just not as bad as you are. Right? Fine. I have a few questions for you, obviously, before that. Sure, hit me. Firstly, what do I call you? Because you're obviously much older than me. I can't just call you Hamza, right? Oh, Your Majesty, my Lord, Big Daddy, anything that works for you. I am just going to be calling you Hamza. I can teleport. Next question. What? Okay, fine. Last question. Do you think I am copying you? Here's what I looked like approximately a year ago, and this is what my current physique right now looks like. Clearly, I've made a lot of progress. Clearly, there's a lot of muscle that I've put, there's a lot of fat that I've reduced. But I still feel like I don't look the best that I want to look. I still feel like there's a lot of muscle that I can still put. I feel like there's a lot of. I feel like I can look better if I cut down a bit fat, basically. So I've decided for the next 3 months, I'm going to be going on a cut. And in this cutting phase, my goal is going to be to lose approximately 6 to 7 kgs. That means that I will be losing half a kg every single week for the next 3 months. That is 90 days. The recommended rate of losing fat, if you still want to preserve the muscle, and if if possible, even gain a little bit of muscle, is to lose it at a rate of half a kg every single week. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you my exact protocol that I plan on doing, and I'm also going in extreme details just so if anybody decides to get on a cut along with me, they know exactly what to do as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, here is my exact protocol for the next 3 months. Before we begin this video, there are some tools that you need to consider purchasing if you want to get onto this cutting phase, right? Number one, and this one is free, it's an app called MyFitnessPal. It is a calorie tracking app. So basically, every single day, everything that you eat, you put on that, and then you know for sure how much you're eating, and you can also check what you have eaten in the past. So it's basically a good way to keep a track of how many calories you are eating and how many calories you should be eating, right? Healthify Me, I think, also does basically the same thing. What I personally do is I I'm going to eat the same thing over and over again. I still basically eat the same thing. But I have just created 3 meals that I'm going to be eating every single day for the next 30 days, and I'm going to change them around a little bit in order to get the calories just right. But for now, just created 3 meals that I can just insert within one click, so I know that I'm on track, and I can just track exactly what my diet looks like every single day, right? So that's number one. Either get Healthify Me, I've never used it, but I've heard that it's pretty good, or get MyFitnessPal. Both of them are free. You can get the paid premium subscription, but I don't think that's necessary. Number one. Number two is get a digital weighing scale. If you have that scale that like when you step on it, like there's a spiral that moves around, that's bullshit. That's not going to tell you the correct, accurate weight. Get a digital weighing scale. Mine is what I think 900 rupees. I bought it like a couple of days ago, and it also shows me my body fat percentage. That's how I found out my body fat percentage. My goal is to reach around 15
50% body fat by the end of this cutting phase. So that would mean that I would be required to lose 6 kgs of body fat during that period. And if my calculations are right, and my calculations are mostly right, if I achieve my goal of losing 6 kgs, I'm going to reach 15% body fat, right? Let's see how that goes. Number three is get a food scale. This is different from a weighing machine. Weighing machine is for weighing you. Food scale is for weighing food. So everything that you put inside your body, you need to measure how much it is so that you can be at least as precise as you can be with the food that you consume. Everything that you eat should be first measured in terms of its weight, and then it should be measured in the MyFitnessPal or Healthify Me, whatever you're choosing, and then you can put it inside your mouth so that you know exactly how much food, how many calories, how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, fats you're putting inside your body. These are the three things that I recommend everybody has before they start getting on a cut. And obviously I have all three. I'm going to be dividing this video into three segments. First is diet. Second is where I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in terms of your diet, how to figure out your macros, how many calories, how many grams of fat, how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, and how you need to reduce calories, how you need to figure out your maintenance calories. I'm going to talk about all of that. In the cardio section, I'm going to talk about basically how much cardio you need to do if you need to do it at all. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about weight training. The latter portion is not that important. The first segment, the diet segment, is all there is to cutting phase, right? Right. So in terms of diet, I like to keep things simple. Otherwise, I know I won't be able to sustain it for long enough, and I just won't stick to it because I'm a foodie and I like eating a lot. So in terms of diet, by the way, I'm only going to be telling you things that you need to know and nothing else, because there's a lot of bullshit out there that you don't necessarily need to know, that will unnecessarily complicate things for you and will just confuse you further. So here are the only three types of diet that you need to know about, right? Diet number one is maintenance diet. This is where you're eating exactly the same amount of calories that you're expending. For example, if you're eating 2000 calories, you're also burning 2000 calories during the course of your day through exercise, through just existing, through sleeping, watching TV, all of the things that you do, everything that you do, expend some calories, right? And that number turns out to be 2000, and you also happen to be eating 2000 calories, so your weight doesn't really change, right? That is the number one kind of diet. Right now, we're only talking about calories to keep things simple. We're not including fats and protein and all of that. That will complicate it. We will talk about that later, but right now, just understand calories, right? The second type of diet is cutting diet. This is what we're going to do. A cutting diet is when you're eating lesser calories than what you're expending. This means that if I'm just giving you like a very generalized example, you don't, this is not a kind of diet that you should be following, right? You're expending 2000 calories during the course of your day doing whatever, right? This is not just exercise related. Even when you're sleeping, you're expending calories. When you're scrolling on your phone, you're still expending some calories, right? When I'm talking, making this video, I'm still expending some calories. During all of these activities, the amalgamation of the calories that comes down to 2000, and the calories that I'm eating right now is 1000. So I am in a 1000 calorie deficit. That means I'm eating less calories than I'm spending. That means by the laws of thermodynamics and physics, I am going to lose weight. That weight can be that weight can be muscle mass, that weight can be fat, that weight can be water weight. That depends on how I fix my diet on a macro level. But basically, if you eat lesser calories than you expend, you're going to lose weight. That is the cutting diet. Number three is bulking diet. This is when you're eating more calories than you're expending during the course of the day. That causes you to gain weight. This is when maybe you're expending 2000 calories, you're eating 4000 calories. So you're going to gain weight, right? These are all the kinds of diets that you can basically be on. There's other things as well, but that's not nothing that you need to be worrying about. Basically, this was to help you understand that when you eat more than what you spend, you're going to gain weight. When you eat less than what you spend, you're going to lose weight. When you eat exactly the same, you're not going to gain or lose weight. Cool. Now, there are some things that you need to know before we talk about your exact macronutrients and calories and stuff like that. First and foremost, you need to know your TDEE. That means total daily energy expenditure. That is the more technical term for basically how much energy, how many calories you spend during the day. This includes the cardio you do, the workouts that you do, the walking that you do, the shit that you take, the dreams that you have, the rapid eye movement that you have during the time you sleep, every movement that your body does, or even when it not doesn't, even when your brain is thinking, everything requires you to expend some calories, and all these calories comes down to your TDEE, basically your total daily energy expenditure. I'll leave a link for a free online TDEE calculator where you can figure out your own maintenance calories. This means that if you eat exactly your TDEE calories, you will neither gain nor lose fat. This is important because this will give us a baseline off of which we will move forward then. For me, my total daily energy expenditure comes down to 2,352 calories. For simplicity's sake, we will round it off to 2,300. The reason we're not taking more than, because it is 2,352. We could make it 2,400 because if we were bulking, we could have made it that way, but because we're cutting, we're taking the lesser amount, if that makes sense. So, my total daily energy expenditure, meaning the amount of calories that I'm spending on a daily basis, is 2,300. My goal is to eat less than this. When I eat less than this, I'm going to lose fat. Remember that losing fat only comes down to how many calories you're eating less than your daily energy expenditure. If you eat less than that, you will lose fat. If you eat more than that, you will gain fat. It is as simple as that. Right. So now comes the most important aspect of the entire cutting phase, or maybe bodybuilding in general. And my take on this is a bit controversial and obviously different from everyone else on this planet. But I have seen this and proved this for myself through many years of practicing this into my life. So, what I have seen personally is that you don't necessarily require twice the amount of twice your body weight in grams of protein. Basically, if you're 70 kgs, you don't necessarily need 140 grams of protein every single day in order to build muscle. What I have seen personally is that that is the optimal amount. That is what you should be eating if you want to build the most amount of muscle. What I have seen for myself is that eating that much protein for a vegetarian like me is impractical if I still want to be under my calories. If I eat that much protein, I will build optimal amount of muscle, but I will also get a lot fat because I'll also be required to eat a lot of calories. Instead, what I've found is that simply eating more protein that you're eating right now will build you muscle. So you don't need two times your body weight in grams of protein every single day. That is the optimal amount. What you need is more protein that you currently eat. Maybe you're eating 80 grams. If you eat 100 grams, you're going to build muscle. As simple as that. Cool. Now, I want to clarify that I, during this phase, will be eating somewhere around twice my body weight in grams of protein. That's because I still want to be building muscle in this cutting phase, right? So my body weight right now on an empty stomach this morning was 69. I know, nice. And so my calorie count for every single day would be 2 times 69, that is 140 approximately. Now there's no way I'll be eating 140 grams of protein every single day because that would just be impractical for me. I'll have to eat 2 scoops of protein powder. I'll have to include more food that I like eating. I'll have to quit. I'll have to like stop fasting stop doing my intermittent fasting. I don't like cutting out habits. I don't like changing my good habits that I've built with a lot of efforts. Instead, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be aiming somewhere around 120 to 125 grams of protein, which is significantly more than what I'm eating right now. I don't even think I'm getting somewhere around 100 grams of protein, and I'm still building muscle, by the way. Still getting stronger in the gym, still building muscle. I will, however, reassess my macros further down the line when I'm like 1 month into this, 2 months into this. And by that point, if I have stagnated, if I'm not building muscle, if I'm not getting stronger, if I'm not losing weight, or if I'm gaining weight, if anything happens, I will reassess my macros and I'll increase the amount of protein if I need to. But as of now, my decision is that I'm only going to be consuming somewhere around 120 to 125 grams of protein. And I have designed my diet. That means I have sectioned my meals such that I am easily able to hit 120 to 125 grams of protein every single day within while staying within my calories. Okay, so this is a bit tricky and a little bit harder to grasp. So if you were scrolling in the comments, reading comments, if you were looking at suggested videos, I recommend you put me on full screen and give me your full attention for this section. You should not cut out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates don't make you fat. Fats don't make you fat. Obviously, protein don't make you fat as well. These are the only three macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbs. These are the three things that are going to determine your body composition. Cool. What make you fat is eating more calories than your maintenance, which we have discussed previously. The only two things that you really need to track is your protein, because that's going to determine if you keep the muscle that you built or that you're going to build more muscle in the future, and your calories, because that's going to determine if you lose fat, gain fat, or maintain the same level of fat that you have. So if you want to change your body composition, just track these two things. Cool. Now let's talk a little bit more about macronutrients, right? Fat is very important. Fat is important because it plays a huge and a very important role in your hormonal secretion. That means it there are a lot of hormones obviously, but it will determine your level of testosterone that you have. That is a very important hormone for men. I don't need to be telling you that. So if you want healthy levels of testosterone, maintain a healthy level of fats. Number two is it it contributes to good joint health. So if you don't want to be getting injured while pushing a lot of weight, while if you don't want to be tearing a ligament or a joint, you need to eat enough amounts of fat so that all of these things are taken care of, right? Carbohydrates are also very important because they are basically the energy that you get, right? What people do is what also that I cannot fathom, I cannot understand why people do this, but people get onto ketogenic diet as an experiment, or maybe they want to lose fat. You're not going to lose any fat in a ketogenic diet, and let me tell you why. When you're in a ketogenic diet, the idea behind ketogenic diet is that instead of eating carbohydrates, you're replacing them with fats, right? So say let's let's just assume that a person only eats one meal a day, and in that meal he eats, let's say this is like a inhuman, this is like a very just to make it very simple for you to understand, he only eats three things. He eats butter, he eats sugar, and he eats protein powder, right? So he eats fat, carbohydrates, and protein, like in blocks, like only fats, only carbohydrates, and only protein. These are the only three things that these three things have individually, right? And one day he decides that he's going to get onto ketogenic diet. So instead of eating the sugar, he replaces it with a spoonful of with another spoonful of fat and the protein that he already eats. So instead of eating one spoon of sugar, one spoon of butter, and one scoop of protein powder, now he's eating two spoonfuls of butter and one scoop of protein powder. Just assume that it's all the same calories still. He's not going to lose any fat. Nothing changes. Instead of using the carbohydrates as fuel, his body now is going to use the fat as fuel. That's the only thing that happens. You're just confusing your body, forcing it to use another macronutrient for something that there is already another macronutrient for. It doesn't make any sense to me. It shouldn't be making any sense to you right now either. Don't cut out any single macronutrient. Every macronutrient is important for you. Eat everything within moderation, within your calories, right? So let's move on. Let's make this a little bit more complicated. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories in it. 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories in it, and 1 gram of fat has 9 calories in it. The reason why ketogenic diet maybe sometimes helps people lose a little bit of fat is because fat takes longer to digest. Carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, are very easy to absorb into the bloodstream. They give you instant energy. That's why sugar drinks give you like a sugar rush. That's because sugar instantly gets dissolved into your bloodstream, gets you instant energy. Fat takes a long while to do that. So it stays in your stomach for a long time. It keeps you full for a long time, you don't get as hungry. As a result, you automatically just eat lesser calories. But if you're a fatty like me, you're just gonna eat a fuckload of butter. So it's not gonna do anything for you. So it still basically comes down to how many calories you're eating. Eating more fat as a result causes you to, in a ketogenic diet, causes you to eat lesser calories, and that causes you to lose weight. So why include this unnecessary step in between? Just eat lesser calories. This is what you need to understand. Carbohydrates 4 calories, protein 4 calories, fats 9 calories. Let's move on. All right, now comes a little bit of maths. This is where you'll use the numbers that I told you earlier to figure out your own macros, right? So my macros will look as follows. In terms of protein, I decided that I'm going to be eating 120 grams of protein every single day, right? And remember, I told you there's 4 grams of protein per 1 gram of protein. There's 4 calories per 1 gram of protein. So we will simply multiply that and we will get the calories that we will get from protein, right? So 120 multiplied by 4, that is 480. We will be having 480 calories that will be coming from protein itself. That is what we will be covering in terms of protein, right? Second, let's tackle fat right now. Now, remember I told you fat is important for keeping a healthy joints and keeping a healthy hormonal system. There is a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of fat that you need in order to maintain your body's equilibrium. So for that, we will make sure that 20 to 25% of our calories are coming from fat itself. And 20% of 400 or 2300, which is my maintenance calories, is 460. This is how much calories I will be getting from fat itself. And we don't really need to be worrying about all this. I told you earlier, I'm only going to be caring about calories and protein. These are the only two things I'm going to be tracking. But for your sake, if you want to get a little bit more anal about this, I will teach you how to calculate your fat as well, right? So ideally, you should have 20 to 25% of your calories coming from fat, right? So 20% of my maintenance is 2300, which is 460. 460 divided by 9, because 1 gram of fat has 9 calories in it. So 460 divided by 9 comes down to 51, and 51 is going to be grams, how many grams of fat I'm going to be eating every single day in order to maintain. This is going to be my maintenance calories. This is where I'm going to start off, right? So that is what my uh, number of fat is going to look like. Next, we need to combine the protein and fats. That will give us the half of the calories that we're going to be eating. So 480 plus 460 will come down to, I think, 940, and we will fill up the rest of the calories from carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are only good for giving you energy, and that's just good source of energy for you. You need to feel energized during your cutting phase as well. So it is ideal for you to eat enough carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates again don't make you fat, so you can eat as much of it as possible as long as they fit under your calories. So 2300 minus 940 is 1360. 1360 divided by 4, because each gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories in it, is going to come down to 340 grams. So here is what my macronutrients are going to look like according to this calculation, right? Protein is going to be 120 calories. Fats is going to be, I'll round it off, it's going to be 50 calories, sorry, 50 grams. And carbohydrates is going to be 340 grams. Every single day, I'm going to make sure that I hit all of these three things. As long as I hit all these three things, I'm going to be Gucci. I'm going to be maintaining my weight right now, because we've established the macronutrients that we need in order to maintain my weight, right? And because I'm eating more protein than I need to, I'm going to be building muscle while maintaining the amount of fat that I have. But we don't want that. We want to be losing fat while gaining muscle, right? For that, I'm going to be reducing the amount of calories I'm going to be eating, and I'm going to teach you how. The next thing that I have already done that you should be doing if you're following along is you need to establish just a couple of meals that will in combination fit your macronutrients and will fit your calories intake. For me, that is eating high protein oats. I have a recipe for that. If you want, I'll make a video about it. But in breakfast, I'm going to be eating high protein oats. In lunch or before workout, I'm going to be eating protein chila, which is going to have soya granules in it, so it's going to be high protein. In dinner, I'm just going to be, in order to complete my calories, because just breakfast and lunch is going to complete my protein intake. In dinner, I'm just going to have a couple of almonds and some milk, and that is going to complete my calories and going to complete all my macronutrients that I need in order to maintain my weight right now, right? So in the beginning of my weight loss journey, I need to first make sure that the number of calories that the calculator gave me are accurate, because otherwise I'm going to be losing weight at not the track that I want to be losing weight at, right? So for the first maybe 3 days to a week, I'm going to be eating at my maintenance calories to see if I'm gaining, losing weight. Um, accordingly, I'll up or down my calories and make sure that what exactly my maintenance calories are basically. For most people, and even I think my maintenance calories are going to be pretty accurate, but I'm still going to be checking anyway. So this is what's going to be my my initial starting point right now. I have 3 meals in check that I'm going to be eating consistently every single day, and I still going to leave room for cheating if occasionally I feel like having a bite of something that I shouldn't be eating. My breakfast and my lunch covers all of my protein for the day. So in dinner, even if I get no protein, and even if it is my dinner, it is 800 calories, I can still have that if I just skip out the milk and almonds. I can still have that and be under my calories and still be eating moderate amounts of protein. And most of my cheat meals are like rather high in protein. So I don't need to be worrying about eating too much off of my eating too many more calories, because my two of my meals are fixed. And I also don't need to be worrying about hitting my protein goal for every day, because my even my cheat meals are like high in protein, right? So if you want like a detailed video on how I set up my meals so that I can hit my protein goal every single day while being under my calories, with the only supplement in use being a scoop of protein powder, which also very recently started using. I used to be under my calories and be eating more protein even while I didn't have access to a protein powder. If you want a video on that, let me know in the comments below. But this is going to be my starting point. This is what I'm going to be doing this week. Okay, so in order to make sure that I am losing fat, I need to be eating less than my maintenance, right? So that means I need to be in a deficit. How I plan on being a deficit is that, first of all, you need to understand that I plan on losing half a kilo every single week for the next 3 months. That means for the next 90 days. In order to do that, in order to achieve that, I will be required. First of all, you need to know that there is 3,500 calories in half a kilo of fat, approximately, right? And there are 7 days in a week. That means 3,500 divided by 7 gives me my daily deficit. That means every single day I'll be required to be in a deficit of 500 calories. If I am in a deficit of 500 calories, that means if I'm eating less than 500 calories on my maintenance calories, I will be losing half a kilogram every single week until a point where my weight reaches such that my maintenance calories are 500 calories less than what they used to be. Here's what I mean. I will keep losing half a kilo, but there will be a point where I'll stop losing weight, where I will, if at this point I reassess my maintenance calories through a calculator, my maintenance calories will be 500 less than what they used to be, right? So now my maintenance calories has become 500 calories less. This is where I need to be cutting my calories for the 500 if I want to continue losing fat, right? But that is for further down the line. You don't need to be worrying about that right now. Obviously, if you're a man, don't go below 1500 calories, because that's the minimum level of calories you need to have in order to maintain healthy hormonal level. But just be mindful that 500 calorie deficit is a good amount of deficit that will help you lose fat. In the next 3 months, I aim at losing 6 kgs. That means that I need to be losing half a kg every single week for the next 3 months. That means I will be in a 500 calorie deficit. How I will introduce that deficit is First of all, there are a lot of things in my diet that if I just reduce, there'll be a lot less calories. For example, if instead of making my oats in regular milk, if I used double tone milk, the calories will come down without hindering my protein amount. Also, if I cut out milk completely and make my oats in water, that will also cut my calories. Lastly, if I have a complete meal that is just there to finish my calories. Basically, that's just there to make sure that I'm eating in my maintenance. These two meals that I'm eating in breakfast and lunch are already very high in protein and low in calorie and very high in volume. They fill me up, so I don't feel hungry during the course of the day. The last meal is just to complete my calories for the day. It's not for protein, nothing. So if I reduce the amount of almonds that I'm eating, I will come in a deficit. So I'm eating 150 calories worth of almonds. If I cut out the almonds completely, I'll already be 150 calories less than what I'm supposed to be, right? If I reduce the amount of milk that I'm eating, I'm also going to be on a deficit. If while making the chila, if I skip out on the oil instead of using regular oil, if I use the spray oil, I will use significantly less calories. So just like this, I will be able to cut down my calories. You will notice that most of these are coming from fat sources. That is because I don't really care where these calories are coming from, but ideally, your calories should be coming from when you're cutting down on calories, you should be cutting them from carbohydrates. But I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, instead I eat a lot of fats because fats are easier for me to cut down on. So that is something that you should be knowing, that you need to be in a deficit in order to lose fat. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit, you're going to be in a 3500 calorie deficit in 1 week, and you're going to lose half a kilogram every single week. But eventually, you're going to reach a point where that deficit will become your maintenance, and at that point, you're going to have to cut your calories even more, and then you will start losing fat again. But that will be very down the line. That will be like 2-3 months afterwards. So I probably won't be required to cut down my calories anymore. But if I do, I'll surely let you know. I will be making more videos in this journey. Right now, I just want to let you know what my plan is. Hopefully, that was not too confusing. You understood everything. Let's move on. All right. So in terms of cardio, I don't think I'll be doing something excessively. I do think I will be introducing cardio slowly into my daily routine. I stopped doing cardio because I thought I was eating lesser calories than my maintenance, and I was somehow still gaining weight, so that didn't really make sense to me. So I was like, if I just eat at my maintenance, I'll obviously just remain the same, right? I gained weight, I got fat. So basically, what that comes down to is, don't ever stop doing cardio if you start doing cardio. I'm going to slowly introduce cardio into my daily routine because I don't want to get into a very big of a deficit, because that will also cause me to have muscle loss. Because if I just start eating 1,000 calories less, obviously I will lose weight. But the lower your rate of losing fat is, the lower your risk of losing muscle is, right? So you want to be in as optimal range of a deficit as possible and lose weight at the most optimal rate. Lose half a kilo a week. That will be the most ideal. And eat plenty of protein so that you're gaining, or at least maintaining the muscle that you built. So I obviously don't want to lose the muscle that I've built. It took me a lot of hard work. So I will be eating a lot more protein than I eat, and I will also not be in an extremely big deficit. 500 is moderate, it's fine, and losing half a kilo per week is completely acceptable. And hopefully, I will not be losing weight at a very rapid rate. If I do, I will slightly increase my calories. But for now, as I told you, I'm going to be eating my maintenance level for a while to know what my maintenance is. For now, my plan in terms of cardio is that I'm going to start with 10 minutes of cardio eventually, like after I have to introduce cardio into my daily routine, and then I will slowly step it up. So I'm going to be doing stationary bike because that's what I used to do. I used to like doing it because I would just play Subway Surfers on my phone while listening to music, and I would do stationary bike, and I would easily do 30-35 minutes of stationary bike at level 8 resistance, which is, I think, the highest level of resistance on that particular bike, I would easily do it for 30 minutes without breaking a sweat. I had reached to that level of cardiovascularity. I don't know where I am right now. That's why I'm going to slowly progress into going back to my older habits. I don't think it's going to be hard at all. The only reason I stopped was not because I didn't like it, was because I thought I was doing more than I need to, which to me didn't make sense. Right now, I'm going to be doing, as I told you, 10 minutes of cardio and then I'm slowly step it up. And remember, I said don't go below 1500 calories. That is because as a man, you should not be eating less than 1500 calories because that's just going to reduce your testosterone levels. But if you want to make sure that you're losing fat, if you're cutting down your weight, cutting down the amount of fat that you have, and also eat more than 1500 calories, that doesn't really add up, does it? Because as a man whose maintenance are 2300, cutting down on it will get me down to 1800 calories. There will be a point where I'll stop losing weight that would require me to cut down my calories even further by 500, or maybe I'll cut down by 250. Either ways, my calories will reach a point where I will have to eat less than 1500 calories, right? What will I do then? That is where cardio comes in. I will talk about cardio later on, but that basically means that doing a little bit of cardio, maybe doing 30 minutes of cardio every single day, will help you eat more basically, because the deficit will be creating anyway. Here's what I mean. If I do 30 minutes of stationary bike every single day, I will be expending 150 calories more than what I do, right? So I only require to eat in a deficit of 350 calories, because in addition, both of these things create a sum of 500, right? 350 plus 150 comes down to 500 calories. So I am in a deficit of 500 if I just include some cardio in it. And that also causes me to be able to eat more. That means I can still I can still live by the rule of not eating less than 1500 calories, and also be able to eat more food by just including cardio into my diet, into my daily routine, right? So that's how I'm going to be introducing this deficit into my life. I'm not just simply going to cut down all the food that I'm eating. I'm also going to be introducing some cardio so that I don't just have to starve myself. Even though I don't really feel hungry ever, that's a weird thing about me. I'm never hungry. But if I ever feel like binging, at least I'll have food in my stomach so that I won't cheat on my diet as much. As a result, I will be able to stick to my diet more easily. If you found everything that I'm saying so far valuable, I've written a free ebook which took me a couple of months to write, and I wrote it as a guide for my younger brother to navigate through his teenage life into adulthood. It, in my opinion, is everything that I know in order to basically make a boy into a high value man. It's a full guide that you need in order to become a high value person, a high value man. If you're interested, it's the top link in the description. It's completely free. You don't even need to give me your email, and enjoy the rest of the video. The last thing that I need to discuss with you is weight training. In terms of weight training, am not going to be doing anything different than I'm doing right now. The only difference is that I'm going to be I'm going to be focusing on my strength a little bit more, because a strength is a very good indicator of where your muscle mass stands, right? So if you're consistently losing strength, if you're losing strength for 1 or 2 workouts, it can be a lot of factors. But if you're consistently losing strength, that can mean that there's something wrong with your diet, because obviously there's a big chance that you're losing muscle mass. And if you're consistently gaining strength, that means, or maintaining strength, that means you're maintaining the muscle mass that you have, or you're gaining muscle. So strength is, in my opinion, a very good metric in order to track basically your muscle mass. So I'm not going to be changing anything in terms of my training other than that. I'm going to be following the same split, which is push, pull, legs and abs. And on Thursdays, I do back because that's a lagging muscle group that I want to be training more. On After that, there's push, pull, legs and abs. This is the only workout split that I've been doing for a long, long time. I don't feel the need to be having rest days because I feel like that hinders my consistency. And for me, consistency is more important than rest days. I give each muscle group enough rest before training it again, and I feel like each of my muscle group is well rested before I train it again, basically the next week or even in the same week. So I don't feel the need to change my workout routine as of now. But if I further down the line, when I'm eating lesser calories, if I feel the need to include a rest days every now and then, if I feel the need to get on to push pull legs, rest, push pull legs, I will do that and I will let you know. But for this video, that's all I'm going to be saying. That's all I have for you in this video. I'm building a community of high value men or men who want to become high value. If you think you're one of them, subscribe to my channel right now so you can become a part of this community and I can help you in your own self improvement journey with videos just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you in the next video.